So today I'm going to be installing a package into my little hive here under the tent, and if things go right, I'm not going to wear my veil, and we'll see. I had good luck in the first go around this morning without getting stung, so we'll see if I can go 2 for 2 today. So my name is Kevin Wetz. I've worked for Oliver's honeybees going on 20-ish plus years now. So pretty much beekeeping is what I've done. It's what I know, and it's what I love to do. Just like anybody else that has bees, you either love this profession and can deal with it, or you can't. So, but we're going to show you on these packages. If you've ever dumped one of our packages, it's a little challenging sometimes opening them and whatnot, but what I'm going to do, first thing, I just use a regular little spray bottle. Make sure you don't have anything mixed in it other than water. You could put some sugar, in it, but it's not really necessary. Just regular tap water is fine. And what that does, you don't really need or have to have a smoker when you do this. It's not really all that necessary. I'm just going to mist them down. Okay, so I'm going to set that to the side. So first thing you want to do, we would kind of recommend don't run right home and install this afternoon. You're better off if you can wait towards the end of the day and install it right before dark. Don't wait for dark, but try to have all your equipment. If you're dumping more than one package, have your equipment out there and already set up and ready to go. Then it's one less headache you have to deal with, and then all you got to do is bring your package out, and then you can install. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to open up my hive, move my lid out of the way, and you can see I've got regular drawn comb, and I have some foundation, because I know some customers only have foundation. They don't have drawn combs. So I have 3 foundation, and the rest of it's drawn combs. You always want to put your best combs in the middle. And the reason for that is it gives them a head start when she comes out of the cage and she starts laying. It just gives them that much more of a jump. If they have to draw out the frame first, that's just going to take them a little bit more time for her to start laying. So if you are dumping a package on straight foundation, you got to feed to get them to draw that out so that she can start laying on it. So so if you have drawn comb, don't stress if you don't have drawn comb. It's not the end of the world. All I'm telling you is you need to make sure that you keep feeding them so that you can get them to draw that comb out. So, because I know there's a lot of folks that don't have drawn comb like we do. So what I usually do is I pull three of my combs out of the center. That's not a very pretty frame at all. So we're going to rotate that one around and move that one to the outside. So you can see if you've got frames that have a little bit of honey, that's fine too. You don't want to put that dead smack in the center because it's got honey in it and stuff and syrup, so there's really no good place for her to lay. So you don't want to be dropping that dead smack in the center and shutting down a lay-in place. So that you're going to want to keep to the outer edge, or a little further out, not dead smack in the middle. Okay, so now that I got my frames out of there, now I'm ready to go ahead and install my package. If you're feeding, if you have an inside feeder, which I've got in mine, or you can use a can, you can either, I believe we've got syrup for sale. I'm pretty sure Dadan has syrup for sale if you're needing that. Or you could even mix your own sugar water, 50-50 sugar, sugar to water ratio on that. The problem is when you feed sugar water, they burn through it a lot faster than they do the syrup. So just word of warning, if you're going to mix your own, make sure that you keep feeding them so that they'll keep stimulating on that. Okay, so got that. We'll pretend I already got my feeder full. So these will get fed. We also we feed a lot of our hives this way, and we have metal cans, gallon cans, that we pop the hole out of the lid, and we can put the gallon feed can on top of the hive and let them feed from the top. So we have a couple of different methods that we can do for feeding our hives. So, okay, so to show you guys I'm brave today, I'm going to do this without my veil on to show you that you can do it. You guys can laugh at me if I get stung. I don't care. So, some days I have a thick skin. So I'm watering these a little more than I generally would, but only because I'm doing it in the daytime. Like I said, we suggest doing it towards night. I also, for the reason why I'm doing it in here, I have my entrance taped off right now. You don't need to do that. I mean, you could if you wanted to, if you're installing during the night. They're not going to go anywhere. The reason we recommend installing at night is, or towards dusk, is this way they stay in the hive all night. If you go home right now and you install your package at 2 o'clock this afternoon, they're going to go out and fly. Your bees are going to drift. You're going to lose some of your bees. If you install this towards nightfall, they stay in there. They start working on their hive. They start kind of understanding their home, and more bodies are in the house sorting things out. So this is why we suggest, doing it towards evening time. So I got it wetted down. Now the queen, get my little cage out. Okay, so your queen's going to be in a little tiny cage just like this. She's hanging in there with this little cap thing that I'm holding on to at the top of the package on one end or the other. So when you get this, first thing you're going to want to do is take that out. Make sure she's moving around inside that cage. If she isn't, that's not a good thing. So it means your queen is dead. So if you see her walking around, you're probably more than fine. You don't have to worry about anything. So the first thing I do when I take that out, I check that she's alive. I'm going to take that little cap off because the bees need to be able to eat that candy out so that she can come out when they eat the candy so that she can start doing her thing, laying eggs and stuff. If you don't, the bees can't chew through this little plastic cap, so you have to take the cap off, please. So, all right, so we're good to go here. Hit them one more quick little time. All right, so I'm taking out my queen. I can see her moving about in the cage there, guys. She's walking back and forth. Okay, so I'm going to pop that little cap off. Now I recommend setting that queen right there on top. And the reason I do that is if you're dumping more than one package, a lot of people get going and then they might set her in the grass and then it gets dark and now you can't find her. If you have her sitting on top of the hive, you know where she's at. You know she goes to that hive. So this is why I recommend leaving her right there on top. Okay. Now these packages, there's a little latch hinge on each side. There's a little one here and here. On the opposite side, it's on the other side. So just take a hive tool. If you don't have a hive tool, you can use a screwdriver. You're going to carefully stick that in there. I know sometimes it's easier said than done. So you're going to pop that back. That's going to pop open like that. It's hinged on there. So you can see my bees are all in there. They're ready to do their thing. We're just going to give them one more little spritz. Okay. Okay. All right. Now, you can see I didn't get everybody out of the package. Don't stress about that. A lot of people don't get them all out. Not a big deal. You can just leave the package sitting out there. Those bees will crawl out and they'll crawl back to into the hive because they're going to go where the smell of the pheromones of that queen are. So if you don't get all your bees out, it's not the end of the world. It's really not. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I'm waiting for those bees because right now they were in the bottom when they landed. Now they're kind of working their way up the sidewalls of the frame. So I don't want to jam my frames back in and start crushing bees as I'm jamming those frames in. So you kind of want to wait, but you don't want to wait too long because they'll start boiling over the top. So it's kind of a fine line. If there's a couple of you, and you're doing multiple hives, one person could be going back and putting the frames in, putting the lid on. So, okay, so my bees are pretty well crawled up the sidewall in there. So now I'm good to go so I'm going to put my best comb in there. Can you guys see it? So I'm going to put one of my good laying combs for her right there. And put the next one in. And my third one. Just try to make sure they're spaced out as evenly as you can. Okay. All right, so that's how you install the actual package. Now I'm going to go back to my queen for a second. Okay, now you want to put that queen in the hive near the center here so that those bees will all come up, cluster around her, eat that candy out, and they release her. I don't recommend direct releasing. I've seen too many queens up and take off on customers. Let the bees eat that candy out. Let them take her out naturally. Sometimes if you direct release a queen, they'll ball the queen and kill her. Why? Even though they've been with the package for a couple, 2-3 days, sometimes they'll still, out of retaliation because of the chaos, they'll kill the queen. So this is why you're better off letting the bees eat that candy out. So I recommend, so that the queen doesn't fall to the bottom, the cage doesn't fall to the bottom, your success rate goes down a lot. If that queen cage falls to the bottom of the package, for some reason they just don't have a good take. They'll still get her out, but a lot of times something happens and they just don't succeed. So I just take a simple toothpick, and please don't stab your queen if you're going to do this. She doesn't want to be a shish kebab. So you can just slide that right through, and you can see I didn't kill her. She's still moving in the cage. Yes, I am a magician. So she's in there moving around still. So now I can go ahead and put it in there, and that toothpick's going to keep it right there where I put it. So if you're using a feeding method with a can on top, don't put your queen directly under your feed because she can't swim if she's got syrup draining all over her. So don't put that lid. You can see I'm offset so that it can't. And you can see, if I look down in there, I can say, okay, she's not there. She's up here. So I don't have to stress about that. But that's if you're using the top feed hive method or something. If you're using the inside feeder, don't stress about it. If you've got a feeder that's kind of open all the way, and it's just a plastic container to hold that feed, that's fine. Keep it to the outside. And you can put something, you will lose some bees if you have an open feeder. You will have some bees drowned in there. You could take something simple like a short little stick or a piece of foam noodle or something like that. Just cut off a piece, something that them bees can stand on if you have an open feeder, and it'll just kind of lower as they pull the feed out. Otherwise, they have to crawl down the sidewall of the feeder and then bring the feed out to go store it in the combs. So that's just one little suggestion you can do. Now you saw that I had that foundation in there. I put my good combs that were already drawn in the middle. Now let's say I don't leave your hive alone for the first 5 days. Don't, other than to check it, to maybe feed it if necessary. Don't go in looking for her, because if it takes her 2 to 3 days to come out of the cage from the time you install it, she's not coming out and directly laying. She could take upwards 2 to 3 days. So I suggest if you're putting her in tonight, wait till at least Wednesday, Thursday before you start getting antsy. There's a lot of people that'll go in on Monday, they'll install it Saturday night. They'll go in looking on Monday and go, my queen's not laying. I'm like, yeah, leave it alone. She's not ready. Even if she did come out of the cage, she's not ready. She's still putting her house together. She will start doing her thing when she's ready to start laying. She wants to make sure things are in check with the rest of her little house people there that are straightening things out. So they're going to be repairing the combs. They're going to be, kind of guiding, the nurse bees will kind of be guiding her in on the frames to lay and stuff. So that's one thing. Getting back to the foundation that I talked about that were in there. Let's say you come back in, you've checked it, your queen is laying, she's still doing good. Check, make sure if you need to feed it again, add more feed to it. You don't want to shortchange your bees by not stimulating them out of the gate. Don't just expect Mother Nature to float the boat here, because you may have a really good area, you may not. It may be too early in some of your areas. If you're up in the mountains, you don't have a lot of floral sources, you got to kind of help stimulate them with that feed to kind of keep the momentum going for them as spring keeps developing for you. So getting back, let's say we're at 12 days, my queen is laying good, everything's looking great, but they're not drawing my foundation. Okay, don't stress about that. Now you can start moving, now that your queen is laying on your other frames, you can start moving that foundation more closer to the middle. Don't throw it dead. I've had people, they'll throw it dead smack in the middle. Well, now you just kind of built a roadblock for your queen, because now she's got to try to go on both sides. You can do that, you're just going to slow your hive down a little bit. So kind of work those frames in. If they're not, say they draw it on one side, but they're not drawing it out on the other side, come back in a few days, flip the frame around, force them to draw that other side, So it's just kind of hive manipulation as they continue to grow and build up. So that's kind of how you do that. If you're dumping just purely on foundation, it's all good. Don't stress about it. Key is feed, feed, feed. And because first, they have to draw that comb out in order for her to even have a place to lay, which means now you have a longer time. You may be looking at 10 days before she's laying, just because they have to draw that wax out first. She ain't going to be laying at 5 days probably, because there's not enough drawn comb for her to actually lay the cells. So just bear that in mind if you're dumping on only foundation frames. So just, kind of a word of warning there. Don't panic if she's not laying. Now you get to day 13 or 14 and you've checked your hive and you got no queen laying any kind of eggs whatsoever, then you probably get a hold of us, because you need a replacement queen. But other than that, I don't recommend just, when you go to do your hive inspection, don't just pull out all your frames and have them all over the place, because I've had people, they're queens, they'll look, okay, I can't find her, they'll set the frame to the side or might lay it down. Well, queens will walk right off the frame onto the grass and you'll never even know it. So as you're checking a frame, you can maybe have 1 or 2 frames outside of the hive, but also if it's kind of a cool weather, you don't want to chill your brood down either. So you don't want to have that comb out of the hive any longer than necessary. So keep that in mind. So that's why I suggest don't scatter all your frames all over the place. Check, see what she's doing, make sure she's up and going. And other than that, let them do their thing. If she's laying, there's no reason to stress any further by doing anything else to it. They just need time, and a lot of people get antsy at the end of the first week. Oh, my queen's not laying. Oh, they're not doing anything. Yeah, because you've got to be patient. Just give them time. They will get it done. Like I said, if you're not seeing that queen laying going into 8 to 10 days, yeah, you need to start, unless you're on foundation, you need to seriously think about, okay, I think I may need another queen. But give them that little bit of time. You know, don't stress. Don't be calling the office on Monday saying my queen's not laying. Yes, I'm pretty sure she's not laying on Monday. So, because she probably isn't. If you do see that she even got out of the cage, she's probably just got out of the cage. So, of course, she's not even going to be thinking about laying. Now, when you do your first inspection, take that cage out, look at it. Sometimes she may not be released. Maybe they didn't eat all that candy. Maybe she didn't come out. Don't just take the cage out and chuck it, because she may still be in your cage. So check the cage and go, okay, yeah, she's not in the cage. We're good. Or maybe she's dead in the cage. You know, that's a bad thing. That means you need a replacement. But other than that, look at that cage before you go and discard that queen cage. But like I said, look at the cage, make sure everything's good there before you start taking frames out and doing your inspection to see if that queen has started laying for you. So, okay? All right, I think that kind of covers it in a nutshell. I know I kind of ramble a lot, but does anybody have any questions I can try to field for you?